Crater Lake? Is that Crater Lake, Oregon?
Crater Lake National Park.
You see a little more here. He looks like he's more upright, or he's moving in a direction.
Yeah, you can
Whether
see the
towards or away, we can't really tell.
You can see the hunched over shoulders and the trapezius.
Now, you were talking about expeditions and who's funding those expeditions.
Right. Well, somebody was questioning one of these Bigfooters on, I think it was a British show, and they said, why don't you just set up, if you've seen Bigfoot here and you see him frequently, why don't you set up a bunch of camera traps?
Yeah, that's my question. Why not?
And the guy says, well, it was mainly because it boiled down to he didn't have money. Well, he was saying that, okay, if you have one camera, that costs, I don't know, maybe $200 or whatever. And so if you have to have 100, the guy said, why don't you put up 100 cameras? He said, well, that would cost, $200 times 100.
National Geographic, nobody's funding that
well, like I say, with National Geographic, they don't put a lot of stock because of the horrible footage that had happened in the past. Maybe that's coming around with some of our photos, but in the past, you'd have horrible footage that looked like people wearing sweatshirts and, mistaken for bears and tree stumps and people.
The beef jerky company that claims Sasquatch is their own should be putting up the money for that.
Yes. But going back to the orang pendek in Indonesia, I mean, a lot of people think about going on expeditions, and there's a lot of fantasy about what it would actually be like, because you think, oh, I'll just go to Indonesia and I'll get the photos,
yeah, good luck. Come back with some sort of disease or die there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the trackers, I can't remember what he had. I don't know, it was liver failure or something or other. It was something because of something he ate, or he was bitten by something. I don't know exactly what it was.
It's dangerous, man.
Yeah, I mean, they have snakes that they don't have here that are in the United States and other areas that are extremely deadly. Bug bites that can just eat away at your skin. They have tigers in the wood. And, like if you look at this area within this photograph, you can
literally trying to get through the forest.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, it wouldn't be forest, but jungle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you look at this photograph, you can see through the trees and you can walk unobstructed. I mean, I'm sure there's areas that are so dense it's hard to walk through. But in the forest, you can't walk like 5 feet without having to chop things out of your way and look.
You mean the jungle?
The jungle. Well, sometimes it's like rainforest type.
Right.
I think it's also rainforest. But they've got tigers, and you might not see one all the time. And some of these researchers say, oh, I've only seen a tiger, twice.
But they see you.
Yeah, but they see you, and they're ambush hunters. And there's, I don't know if there's wild boars. But it's.
What about the natives? They could take you.
I'm not sure.
You're encroaching on their sacred land.
This is not like New Guinea, where there's people that are in the forest,
cannibals,
in jungles that are. Yeah, I mean, there's actually people out there that were cannibals, previous generations, or maybe they're still alive, but they don't do it anymore. But there's actually people that have not been contacted by outsiders
that are cannibals.
That are cannibals. I mean,
there's a lot of dangerous things to come across.
But in this particular part of Indonesia, it's not a cannibal area. It seems to be. I mean, they're poor people. And
maybe Arnold would take on one of these expeditions.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why would that be?
Well, he's not. He doesn't have any work anymore.
He has his own line of protein supplements. Maybe he can use the money from that. And I mean, I think it really boils down to money. If people can get something out of it, they'll. Then no one's just going to go there that has money is going to just dump $1 million.
Well, it would certainly be worth it if you were able to capture.
Yeah, I mean, but somebody could turn it into a one-time episode that they recoup their investment on, and put it on Spike TV or something like that.
They would always be known as the person that did it,
Yeah, I mean,
one and only.
But even if they don't find something, they could just put the trials and tribulations of their exhibition. Exhibition. What's it called? What do I always say?
Expedition.
Expedition.
You and your exhibition.
Yeah. Expedition. Trials and tribulation of their expedition on a 1-hour program, and then recoup the.
That sounds like a show for the one and only famous Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah. Why not?
He could bring you a show like that.
Yeah, or anybody. But I want to talk more about next episode about the reality, more of the reality of actually doing something like that versus the fantasy.